Modular grenades are a type of grenade that can be crafted through the G construction menu. To craft a modular grenade, you need 5 steel, a low voltage cable, a trigger, and a payload. In order to get a payload and a trigger, you need access to science. To get all of this, you basically need medical machinery, biological technology, chemistry technology, and electromagnetic theory, which also has prerequisites like basic research technology. While you don't have to be a scientist to use modular grenades, it makes it a lot easier. Some scientists will make you one if you ask for it, but they probably won't fill it up with chemicals, so the burden isn't quite on them if you end up using it for harm. Um, Otherwise, yeah, basically to sum it up, you need to be a scientist. So, in order to get these things, the most common ways to use modular grenades is to get a timer trigger and to get a chemical payload, which requires steel and plastic for both of them. So, if I just print out a timer trigger and the chemical payload, I now have two of the things you need. There's also steel in here, and there will be low voltage cables in here. So now I can make the modular grenade. So first you put that, it's like a casing, then you put the cable on it, and then you just stick in the timer trigger. And there are obviously other ways to use grenades. There's also like voice activations, but I'm just going to show you the basics. And then a chemical payload. Other items you're going to want, if you're actually using a modular grenade, is you're going to want a crowbar. Because with the crowbar, you can actually take the chemical payload out. And in order to use a chemical payload, you need beakers, which you can also craft at Science Land. And they're pretty cheap without even upgrades. You can use, so for one recipe I'll show you, it just requires 2 normal beakers. And this one doesn't even require a Chem Master to make. I, of course, am not going to show you how to make the most disgusting death bombs you've ever seen, but I will show you how to make rather dangerous ones. So for this one, all you need is phosphorus and sugar in one, 25 of each, and then put in your payload. And then in the other part, you want 25 radium and potassium. And all you do is put it in your grenade, and you need to find a target to use it on. So I will just spawn a Urist in the hole, and you'll see what this grenade does. This is probably one of the fastest and easiest grenades you can make. So you just press Z to activate it, and this is what this one does. It makes a not huge green poisonous smoke cloud. And the cool thing about this one is that you get your grenade back if no one takes it. And yeah, it's not the most impressive damage, but it does radiation damage. And it'll keep stacking up, and that's obviously if somebody's just standing in it. But what it does is it basically makes a wall of uncertainty. And as you can see, this took not very much effort to make. You can make it instantly at a chem dispenser. It doesn't require any mixing, and you can do it with small beakers. And if somebody actually stood in it the entire time, like say you like slipped them or something and then threw it at them, it will indeed crit them. And that is a very easy to make grenade. Another classic I'll show you is also very simple, but this one requires getting water, which you can find water basically everywhere in this game. Water is super common. In order to get your beakers out, you just have to crowbar the chemical payload out, and you'll get your beakers back, as long as it's not like a super explosive one. I will show you another small beaker explosion that you can make. So you just put potassium in one, and then fill the other one up with as much water as you can until it says the beaker is full. And this one is really simple as well. And by the way, you can right-click a modular grenade, and you can set the delay to from 3 to 30 seconds. 3 seconds is really nice if you're just, especially for this, like, I mean, just look how much radiation he took. 182 radiation from a tiny grenade. So, this one is really fun, because you just place it and run. And it's a small explosion, doesn't do all that much damage, but it does heat, piercing, and blunt, and it can knock the power out of areas because it actually rips up cables. And that one is one you can actually use with large beakers to get a bigger explosion, but I mean, if you just want basically small frag grenades, you could do that, and it doesn't destroy the grenade. Now I'll move on to just one more of a different variety, but this one requires large beakers. But yet again, large beakers are not very expensive. Beaker, you want to do 50 aluminum, 20 lithium, 20 hydrogen, and put that in there. And then the other large beaker, you want to do, this one's a little complex, I guess, 10 oxygen, 5 sulfur, 5 hydrogen, and then 20 potassium, fluorine, and hydrogen. And that's it for that one. And this one is the grenade I like to call the annoy the living shit out of everyone. And it also does quite a lot of damage. I'll spawn another Eurus to show you. So you just detonate this one, and you do not want to be around for this one. I'll show you. It makes this blue foam that typically spreads more than that. I'm not entirely sure why it didn't spread. But when it's done, it actually makes it easier. A, it basically instantly killed that dude. And B, I'll do another example that I don't really know why that one didn't spread, but it is very lethal and very annoying because this stuff requires a weapon to break, and it takes a while to break. So you can use it to literally seal up hallways if you're trying to escape, or just throw it in an apartment and basically make it unusable for a little bit. Okay, well, I looked more into it. It used to be much bigger, but that one actually seems to have gotten nerfed recently with the foam. I might have been indirectly nerfed for all I know, because it used to be a massive foam bomb. But either way, it's still not a bad recipe, and it isn't hard to make, but not exactly as I mean, it used to fill up entire halls with foam, so that one probably deserved it. I'll show you one more type of really good grenade while I'm here. And the purpose of these grenades is that they're really easy to make and don't require much setup. And like don't require a Chem Master is a big one. So this one is 30 chlorine and 10 phosphorus in one. And by the way, I don't claim to be like the greatest bomb maker known to man. So yeah, just in this one, 30 chlorine, 10 phosphorus. And in another one, you need to do 60 fluorine, 10 potassium, and sugar. And this one is explosive and has a little smoke cloud. So you just detonate it, put a 3-second timer, make sure you are not near it, and it makes an instant smoke area and almost a 3x3 area. And what it does is it gives the people inside a max fire stack, and just look how fast they die. If they get caught in that without a fire extinguisher, they are doomed. And yeah, like I said, the whole purpose of this was to cover. It also ate my grenade, so I keep in mind that the explosive ones can destroy your grenade after a certain amount of use, but you're probably not trying to stick around to pick up your grenade anyway, and you can just make a lot of them. So, yep, just keep in mind that this one doesn't cover Chem Master grenades. It's simple recipes, because I'm not going to tell people or encourage people how to make the most disgusting round-ending, kill every single person in the game grenades. I think you should want to discover that yourself. Science allows you to make these types of things as part of the experimentation. Obviously, don't go experiment on people unless you're an antagonist. If you're an antagonist, fucking chuck 30 grenades at people for all I care. And yeah, that is it for now. Hope you learned something.